good to see you again. And as usual, if you're passing by right now, it is time for Monday Word. Yes, I'm so excited. I'm so excited that you're here today. We've got a great conversation in store. And just so you know, as a reminder, Monday Word, it's a chapel break experience that centers the voices and perspectives of underrepresented and marginalized communities, internal and external to PLU. Yeah. And so we get a chance to hear a different perspective. And this week, I am so excited to welcome our own Nayonni. Nene Watts is back. Hey, Nayonni.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, my goodness. So good to see you, sister. So good. Yes, you're looking well. Looking amazing. I'm going to just invite you and others that are listening into prayer right now so that we can just, get our hearts and minds ready for the conversation that we're about to have. So if you will, everyone, however way you posture to pray, if you close your eyes, you pray with your eyes open, up on your knees, however way you want to do it. Let's just center ourselves for that. And we'll just breathe a couple of times real deeply. And out. And inhale. And push it out. Oh God of unconditional love, you who show no partiality in respect to people or nations, we have heard your good news of great joy for all the people. We hear that good news, and in hearing, believe. We know that your sanctuary is a house of worship for all people with no regard for the color of our skin. As we worship you, knit us into a people, a seamless garment of many colors. May we celebrate our unity. May we made whole in our diversity. Forgive us for our inability to let our old selves die to the world. We acknowledge that we participate in structures that are inherently racist, and yet we do nothing to remedy it. Show us when we fall, when we judge others according to the color of their flesh. Amen.
Amen.
This prayer, I got this one from the United Church of Christ prayer. They have a prayer for racial justice. And I've been having a good time just kind of searching on the internet for just different prayers for healing. This time is just one that we've never seen before. So that's kind of where I want to start, hon. How are you? I want to check in. How are you holding it? Up or down, as we say. How's it going?
Honestly, it comes and goes. The days, being online sometimes is exhausting, and screen fatigue, internet fatigue is real. So, I don't know. Sometimes when I see the news, I get numb, or I get mad, or I just feel anything but happy sometimes. I feel hollow. Like, I feel like there comes in ways where I'm ready to just go back to doing what I was used to doing, and I just wanted to live my life because I finally was getting my own ball rolling. But because of the, I'm gonna be nice and say, misguidance of others and people's willingness to not cooperate with a reasonable task, it's frustrating that I have to suffer the consequences of others because I feel like I'm in grade school again. Because one person talked, everyone has to stop talking.
Hmm. Well, I think that's called adulting, hon. You know, I mean, it's like it's called figuring it out. And I'm just amazed. I mean, let's take our viewers back to the beginning of your story of becoming a loot, right? I mean, because you're one of our finest, and I know people are watching. The views are going to go up because it's going to be, oh my God, Nene! You know, everyone's going to want to hear what you've got to say. So, what's that story?
Well, story goes that I was born and raised in Las Vegas, Nevada, uh, and I wanted to get an education outside of Nevada because I felt like I was in my own bubble and I was kind of heavily sheltered. I love my family; they love me, but I needed to kind of spread my wings. And even my mom encouraged her kids to try to seek out more. So it kind of started when when I had a summer program in Maryland. That was the furthest I've ever gone away from home. My first time flying, actually. It was great. 2 weeks in Maryland for a summer, for like a quick college course for a taste of college. I really liked it. I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed my time there. And I thought, well, okay, I can handle being like on the other side of the United States and getting familiar with my aunt over there. So yeah, I can be a state away from Nevada. Why not? So I decided I wanted to. Actually, I originally wanted to study at San Diego State University, but they were giving me the runaround, and I was not having it. It was frustrating. It was like playing telephone tag. But when my advisor my dean Herbie Walker, uh, told told me what I could do, and I had other options, and told me that there was other people from our high school who currently attend and were going to attend PLU in Washington. I just thought, okay, I'll do it. I'll put in my application for that, and there it was so much more of an easier process. Everyone was talking to me, and that's how I met you, and you were working in admissions at the time.
Yeah, I admitted you.
Yeah.
Yes, that's why I'm sitting here. I've got this silly grin on my face because I'm just so proud. I'm listening to this story going, yeah, listen at this. Listen how this evolved. Once again, listeners, viewers, vocation, right? That whole thing of vocation. I'm living in my vocation and it's coming back. I'm getting the testimony right here. Look at this. And so you came to PLU sight unseen,
Yep. Yep.
didn't
I
you? You did. So the whole theme, this chapel theme, this semester is love your neighbor, a call to action. So let's talk about how neighborly you had to get in order to have a successful experience. Were there people? Did you find your people? Were there people loving on you? Were you loving on others? What was your PLU journey like?
it well well I'm since I am on the autism spectrum, I find it a little easier to relate and talk with people who are older than me. So I kind of latched on to administration and faculty more than my peers at first to just get my setting and my grounding. So someone like Susan Paver and Dr. Eva Fry, Simone Smith, people who at Lee House, they are my community, as well as people at the Diversity Center, Luke, Syre, even though they're moved on from working there, uh, Miss Angie, Nicole, and just everyone within those community spaces where I feel like I can be my full authentic self, and going through PLU, I felt like I can go into those locations, and if I needed something or I needed advice, whether it be school related or real world related, I visited the Lee House constantly. on my
What tell our viewers if they don't know, because some people that don't go to PLU uh, watch this broadcast. So
oh, right.
what what's the Lee House?
So the Lee House, it's a really warm environment. It's also y'all changed the name of it. I don't remember the new name because it's very long, but it's basically uh, where students who are differently able to go and get their accommodations done or
Community
their
services?
yeah, to get services for their accommodations. So me being on the autism spectrum, I was able to get my accommodation set up, and I was able to test there instead of doing it in the counseling center office because I didn't really like doing it in that space anyway. But being in the Lee House, it was more authentic to me, and it was more neighborly, definitely more familiar faces. And even on any random day when I'm done with classes, I would just poke my head in. I would make it my I'd make it like my task every day to just poke my head into the diversity center, Lee House, seeing who's all there, and just chatting up, checking in with people, checking in with me, see how's it going, stick
And
around for a few hours.
campus ministry.
Yes, campus ministry. I'm sorry. There's yeah, I love checking on you and Jen too. I miss that's what I miss most, honestly, about being a Loot is seeing my community. And actually last weekend, about 2 weekends ago, they had Nicole in the Diversity Center was hosting the first time ever online version of the Students of Color retreat.
Yeah.
And I was helping facilitate, talking about professionalism and code switching. And I was a little anxious about it because I've been to the Students of Color retreat at least 3 to 4 times. I facilitated last year in person, and it was so much fun. It was such a good vibes. I was worried that we wouldn't have the same energy like we did in person, but having it online was better than not having it at all. So I think the energy was definitely there. The students were there and they were feeling it, and I'm happy that a lot of them got to just enjoy and learn and experience and hopefully building their own communities.
Yeah, I want to continue to uplift for the viewers the courage that you have, Nayonni, and sometimes you don't always give yourself the grace that you deserve. But it's pretty badass when you can make a decision to move yourself from Las Vegas and attend a university that you didn't visit at all, and then persist through that university at levels that were extremely impactful. I mean, I'm thinking about the work that you left us when you did the research. Remember the project we collaborated on for Black History Month, and all that research that you did um, of Black people that attended PLU over how many, I mean, decades,
Yeah,
decades.
as far back as the 60s is where I could find as far back as I could find it.
Yeah, you did some amazing work, which is now digital. And then you also pulled together this incredible program for Autism Week, didn't you? You
Yeah,
were listening. I mean, it's just talk about a servant heart. So you have autism as a diagnosis. Is that how I say it? You have or do you say a condition, or how do I frame that?
um, I know for most people with disabilities, they don't want to use first person language, but with autism, I prefer because I am an autistic Black queer woman, yada, 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 because I am autistic first because that's my lens, that's how I see everything, and then so on and so forth. It
Yeah,
was a
I'm just saying that it took so much courage for you to make these choices. And so there had to be a lot of love in, in the journey, in the journey. And so what do you say to the people that are persisting now? What were the strategies, you know, because Black students struggle and that hasn't changed. So
Mhm.
what do you say to them as they're persisting in their journey?
Um, I definitely remember being a stubborn person because I wanted to do my due diligence and get what I set out to achieve accomplished. And knowing that that is very much well an example, no better example of me having to tear through many people and talking through a lot of people uh, than when I put on my play Spectrums of Color. Do you remember that?
I remember you
Yeah,
did.
that was my senior. That was my like goodbye, my wave goodbye to the theater program because I graduated with a theater degree. I wanted to. I wrote 3 short plays. I They were all about my story as an autistic person of color, and I wanted to portray that in J term during January. And it was a lot of work on my part and like everyone involved, mainly to pull strings together and worrying about if we're gonna get people in the first place, putting together a will do team, asking the right questions, asking the right people. I had to jump through so many hoops and ask so many people of if I can get this, if I can get that. I originally wanted to do it like in the cave because that's usually where student projects go, which doesn't honestly does not have the most ideal theatrical setup. But for some reason, when I, a Black student, want to do a play in the cave, they told me I couldn't have the space. But when I went to I, Tom, who was at the time, and I still
Your
think at the time,
director. Hmm.
at the who's head of theater, he told me that I could try renting out the black box, which is more an ideal space anyway. So I was able to get the black box for January.
It
When
was
ugh,
fantastic.
it was fantastic. We were able to record it. I was able to work with showrunners and work with like students who have no. I basically surrounded myself with people who knew more stuff than I do. So
And
that way they
that's the best metaphor for life. I mean, that's the lesson that you learn. You surround yourself with people that know more than you do. But you have more than one job. I mean, I want to be really uh, intentional about listening, lifting up the jobs. Now that you wrote it, you produced it, you directed it.
now I didn't direct it.
Oh,
I wanted to have 3 directors for each of them.
oh, that's
So
right.
we had to do casting. I left that up to the directors. I did not have to sit in during each rehearsal, but I wanted to because everyone was putting in their all for me, and I wanted to show that I am here for you too, because
That
I was so grateful.
that right there, what you're describing, is the love. Okay, I mean, like that is how it works. Is that it comes from within, it comes from the heart, it's your desire, it's your passion. You're in this PLU environment where most of the people don't look like you at all,
Mm-hmm.
at all. So you've got to navigate these systems. You see barriers, you overcome them, you gain allies and accomplices along the way. That's what persistence looks like, and it's done through love. And then next thing you know, boom, you're graduated and out there in the world.
Yeah, and I I definitely peaked in college. Most people would peak in high school and it kind of like ebbs and flow there. I peaked in college because I feel like a lot of my greatest accomplishments were done at PLU because of the PLU space and the PLU people. I was a residential assistant. Then I got to be following year. I was able to prove my stripe and became a residential assistant with additional duties. I think they call it something different now, but basically I got to be like the leader or the boss, quote unquote, in my own environment at Hinderley because I wanted to uplift those kooky, crazy, creative artistic people there. I intentionally sought out and hired front desk workers of color because because it's my desk. I want to see people at my desk who look like me and who reflect Hinderly. And I only had three, and 3 out of 8 of my desk workers were white. And they were only there because they were returners and had the most experience and could help. But I also enjoyed the energy they brought. I worked in campus ministry. Actually, Miss Melannie, you were the person who was able to provide me like my first on-campus job. I think, didn't I work like under you? And it was working under you where you tasked me to do some research for Black history throughout PLU. And I think you were helping with something during that J term because it needed to be up by February. I was working from November all the way through through the first of February.
We got it up on February 1st. That was so it was for the whole Black History Month.
I was doing research, hopping back and forth from campus ministry to the library and archives, and going down to Walgreens. And I had to get reimbursed so many times for so much double-sided tape. And Jen was helping me. Pastor Jen was a rock for me a lot of the times because I would just because by the time I was done with the research and had stuff printed out, I just needed to lay everything on the banners. I was spread out. My inner thighs were so stretched out for the past few weeks.
Yeah, you did such a good job, Nayonni. We miss you so much. Yet, when I do go in the building, in the University Center, I see your beautiful face because it's on the wall.
Yeah.
So you're immortalized, at least for now, because tell our viewers what your award was that you won.
Oh, you mean like it's back here with like some of the other accomplishments I've gotten from PLU. But the one in frame, it's oh my gosh, the Brian C. Olson Student Award, and yeah, Student Award for Leadership because of my work I've done at PLU, because of my work that I did through working through student life, campus life, student life, being a residential assistant. I guess putting my best foot forward as I could and standing up for students and hosting my Autism Awareness Month events, trying to educate people that autism is more than just a neurological disorder, a neurological disorder, and it can affect any and everyone, and it looks different in different people of differing genders, sex, race, and working with different people in order to put those things together. It's wild, and that's why I got this award, and I was awarded that last homecoming, and they put my face on the wall. I was the bottom right corner.
Yeah,
it's there. But even though the year before that, there was another Black alum who was there. He was in the top left corner, and like, okay, it looks like every year.
That was Edwin. Edwin from Namibia. Yeah, we be remembering our dark people. So listen,
winners. One Black person.
We've gotta wrap this up, but I want you to give a little kernel of love to the faculty, right? Because one of the things that we do is we just continue to strive as an institution to do better, right? We're trying to do better. So as a student, is there any particular time that you can recall or professors that you want to give a shout out to that just got it right when we're teaching social justice or having to do with matters of race or any of that you experienced while at PLU? What's good?
I want to give like a ginormous thumbs up and shout out to everyone in the theater department, like Tom. Oh my gosh, why am I forgetting everyone's name? It's not even that hard. Sweegan, Sweegs.
Amanda,
Yes, Amanda. She was my not counselor, but academic advisor.
Henry.
Uh, Henry. Oh my God, I love Henry. Henry was he's such great. Henry, Jeff. Mm,
Yeah.
it was,
No, yeah, it's hard when you put on the spot and you don't have time to prepare, but I know that they know that you love them. But it's just important and you know, if you just give a word because when people are, you know, pouring into students, you know, they just don't know, you just don't know what sticks. You
mm,
know, and so if you have a word to say, hey, this got me through PLU, predominantly white institution, as a queer, autistic, you know, woman of color. So what's good? You know, what was it that made it work for you? Do you have anything you can share for them?
get acquainted with the communities you know you're gonna go in and out of with. So like for me, I was acquainted and stuck around in the diversity center. I know they do these center hours online right now. And even like towards the tail end of spring, I was popping my head in there every now and again and seeing what's happening. That was keeping me a little bit more sane because as much as an introvert as I can be, I do enjoy seeing people. And I keep a group chat with like my my Lee House people, uh, my friends who are also alumni. We stay in contact or just text or message each other every so often, just checking in on each other. And as small as that may seem, it does help in the long run. And I feel we are in uncertain certain times. I'm you know me, Miss Melannie. I'm a planner. I seeing my
Yes,
calendar.
you are.
That's why I'm really anxious. I miss seeing my calendar full. As even though those days I was like, oh my gosh, why am I taking a class at this time and doing this and doing that all at once? I miss doing stuff. Being at college was my most active part of my life.
Well, sounds like to me that we might be on a path for grad school. I'm just gonna leave it right there. And
Don't
we will talk about that another time because it sounds like to me vocation is calling, wild and precious life, next level. Coming from, you know, I'm still in school, so
yeah, I just I guess I don't give myself as much credit as I should, but to me, what I was doing, I'm like, well, shoot, if no one else is gonna do this idea, and if I'm the only one who's noticing it, well, darn it, I'll do it. Try to get a group of people together, and I don't know, but I want to thank you. I want to properly thank the theater faculty, Tom Smith, Kathleen Anderson, Jeff. He'll get it, Jeff. Clap. Henry Loftman, Sarah Cedar, and Amanda Swigs. I love and miss them all so much. That was my major. And even I graduated 2 years ago and some names are escaping me. But I've interacted with a lot of people on campus to the point where everyone recognizes me or knows me because they know me by Nene. And I feel bad when I don't remember them or recognize them. And I'm like, I'm sorry, are you the ninth or the 10th person I gave a encouraging
well,
spiel
that's
to?
a whole lot of white people to remember, and there's not a lot of us for them to know. So give yourself some grace, okay? Just give yourself. It's not a lot of us to remember. So
I'm just happy they know I'm not black person number 4.
that's right. We just forge our own ways, and our personalities just you know, become part of the fabric. But Nay, I gotta go, and I am so grateful for your time today. It has been wonderful to catch up with you. It's wonderful to lay eyes on you. I know that the campus community is you made a lot of friends when you were here, and you really did love your neighbor. And And we loved you. And we still love you. We miss you.
I miss y'all.
Yeah. So I'm sending you, I'm going to give you my Wakanda hug and then a big hug. And you take care of yourself out there in that big old world. Okay?
I'm trying. I'm trying.
Yeah. And we'll catch up. I promise we'll catch up.
Okay.
Right?
If we catch up, can we also mustard? That's what I miss too. I miss punning off of people. Because I relish our time together.
Girl, bye.